Hello again, this is John, and it's been a while since I've made a video, so I thought I'd showcase this. It's a Montgomery Ward, and the title here, 21 Joule Supreme Automatic Zig Zag. That's a mouthful. When I first saw this machine, I looked at this emblem, and I thought, wow, that kind of looks like a Cadillac emblem, but no, it's got a little M and a little W. So I guess that's the Montgomery Ward crest. So this is a zigzag machine, as the title says down there. And let's just go through it here. This is the zigzag width knob. And these two little arms can be set. So if you wanted just to go so far, like it's set to number 2 now, it's got 0 to 5, and so I set it at 2, and so now it'll only go that far. Actually, it'll only go up to the 1 since I have it set at 2. So we can move that back out to past 5, then we have the whole range from 0 to 5. The stitch length lever here, which is pretty standard for these old machines. And then this little knob, this is the stitch length, maximum length adjustment, so it's numbered from 0 to 4, just like this is numbered 0 to 4 here. So if I put this on 4, it'll go up as far as 4, and then it goes backwards the same amount. If I set it to 2, then it goes up as far as 2 and down the same amount. So we'll just set it out all the way there so we can have our full range. And then this knob is the feed dog knob. It's in the up position now. It's got a down, a 1, 2, and an up. So apparently you can set it at 2, and that doesn't bring it up quite so far. And number 1, it's down even further. And then when you set it to down, then that means it's all the way down. This is a front-loading class 15 bobbin under here. So front-loading, so that means the hook is behind the bobbin, and so when you stick the needle in, the flat of the needle would go to the back. So that's what you always want to try to remember when you are looking at your needle. It's got a flat side here, and that flat goes toward the hook. So the hook is down underneath. That's the thing that catches the thread, the upper thread, when it comes off the needle. So you want the flat of the needle towards the hook. So in this case, the hook is on the back side of the bobbin. So the flat of the needle, when you insert the needle in up here, the flat will go to the back, towards the hook. And if you watched any of my other videos, you've heard a creaking chair that I've sat in, and I finally got around to tightening it up so the chair doesn't squeak anymore. And I haven't dusted this thing off very well, but let's see, I've gone through this. Okay, this machine takes cams, so you open up this lid, and it's got kind of a stop there, so you pull it all the way so it's straight up, and that releases the lever inside, and then you can stick a cam in. I didn't get any cams with this machine, so I haven't been able to test it. But when that lever goes back, when that sets up here, then the lever that rides on the cam engages with this knob. And then to get the door down, there's a little button on the back side you have to push down, and that releases the spring, and the door goes down. It's spring loaded, and I didn't want to have it snap down from all the way up. So now the lever inside is tied to this knob. I don't know if I can do it here. Let me get a screwdriver. And so if we push on the lever, it actuates the zigzag knob. So if you can imagine, a cam with humps in it. The lever rides on those humps and then it just makes this go back and forth according to the cam. Then when you take the cam out, there's a gizmo inside that unhooks itself. So now it's engaged with the lever for the cam, this knob, and it's spring loaded to ride on the cam. I wanted to pull the top off of here and show. You hear about all metal machines, a whole bunch, and these older machines usually are all steel inside, gears and levers and everything, and the newer machines usually have quite a bit of nylon gears and things inside. This one though, let me pick the camera up and bring it over here. Now even some old Kenmores that I've worked on, they'll have a gear like this one, maybe a phenolic type gear. Even if it's a late 50s or early 60s machine, it may not have all steel gears in it, but you can see this one. Worm gears, there's a worm gear underneath there. And so all these gears, here's even a couple of gears over here, straight cut gears, and you can see that they are all steel. There are no plastic parts in this machine that I can see. So we'll get the camera set back up again and we'll do a little bit of sewing. Oh, I wanted to point one more thing out here. Open up the side cover and you can't get a very good view in there. Let me tip the camera a little bit. Looking in here though, a lot of the machines starting in the 60s, they would have one of these links or one or more of these take-up lever links would be nylon. And while that works fine, it's just people like me like to find something that still has everything is made the good old-fashioned way out of steel. And since this is a Zig Zag machine, there's even a little linkage here. You can see a couple of pins in there and the link between. That's so the needle can swing back and forth and still be connected to the shaft. So even with a machine like a Montgomery Ward's, they put quite a bit of work into designing them to last indefinitely pretty much. So we'll tip the camera back down and now we'll thread it. There's my spool of thread. Okay, we come up around the back loop, around the front loop, go down through the check spring, have to go in front of that, over that. Now the check spring is up on top here and it has a loop where you have to get the thread behind the loop and then it goes down underneath this little arm. See that action? So when the take-up lever is coming up, the check spring gives a little bit of tension on it. Okay, through the take-up lever, through a couple of little loops here, and one final loop down here. Stay in there. And then through the needle. I think this needle is kind of dull too, but it'll do the trick. I already have the bobbin thread coming up through the plate, and we have a piece of cloth here. I'll just fold it over, I don't know, I guess just once, and I'll do a straight stitch along the fold. Straight stitch midway between 0 and 4 on the stitch length, and I think we're ready to go. Very quiet. It made a real racket when I first started messing with it. So if you look at that, a nice stitch on both sides. So let's do a zigzag. Full width zigzag. And you can see the thread tension is pretty balanced between the top and the bottom. I've got a kind of a green thread on the bottom and kind of an aqua colored thread on top, so you'd be able to see the two different colors come through if it wasn't balanced very well. So we'll go stitch length all the way and see how big of a stitch we can make here. That's quite large. Now we'll see how close we can get it. This is pretty thin fabric, so I don't know how well it'll work with a really tight stitch. This is the foot tension. It felt a little loose, so I tightened it up a little bit. So we'll go down to about a half. One problem with doing such a close stitch, a lot of times it gets bunched up in here, and then the pile of stitches gets caught in the little hole in the foot, and so then it doesn't go anywhere. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this fabric is a little thin, but that does quite a remarkable job for still being like 50 years old. I imagine this was sold in the late 50s. So it's about as old as I am. But it runs a whole lot better. So again, this is a Montgomery Ward's MW, and it's in the little ID plaque up there. And we swing over here, and it's a 21 joule Supreme automatic Zig Zag. Now, one thing, I looked online to see if I could find anything out about these things, and I actually found an ad in some newspaper, and they said that the 21 joules was you didn't have to mess with any levers or anything for decorative stitching. You got 21 cams with the machine, and those were the 21 joules. So you just stick a cam in and you start sewing with it to get a decorative pattern. So that's one thing I like about this hobby, is researching these old machines to figure out what all this kind of stuff means, and the little levers that are inside, how this one, the lever for the cams, hooks up to the knob here. And it took me a little while to figure out how to disconnect this thing once it was connected. And I don't know if it might just need a little adjustment inside, but I just give it a little flick, and then that would release the little lever inside. Maybe just allowing this to snap down. See, now it's connected. So just pushing that button and letting this slam down, that disconnects the cam lever from the Zig Zag knob. So I guess that was their plan. Now it's connected, and if I just let it down with a cam in there now, if there was a cam in there, it would be connected. Now this is spring loaded, so it's always pulling to the widest width. But then you open the door up again and pretend I took the cam back out again. I just push the button to release the door. Now it disconnects this from the knob. So there you have it. Montgomery Ward 21 joule. Even though there are no joules in this mechanism. So thank you for watching.